it's arguable that there's certain theories now, like string theory, that are very similar to that type of understanding. They're trying to work this out. They're trying to get some theory of everything that's going to explain these four forces and how they interact. But they don't have it because the theory of everything is God. And if you're denying him, how are you going to see him? Right? So, is that clear?
Why they don't believe in cause and effect in the Ash'ari school?
Okay. The reason is because cause and effect, if we accept that I can cause something or that this can cause something, then I am giving this some kind of intrinsic power. And if I give it intrinsic power, then I'm giving something that is God's alone. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. I'm giving something that is intrinsically God's alone, and I'm attributing it to a created thing, and in that way it's a type of shirk. It's shirk al-asbab. And so what they argued was that in every instant it's a new creation. بَلْ هُمْ فِي لَبْسٍ مِّنْ خَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ. In every instant, it's a new creation. So, to give you a modern metaphor to understand this, if you've ever been in a theater when the projector breaks down, has anybody ever had that experience when the projector breaks down? Okay. Now you have digital, so it just all goes crazy. But in the old days, if you're old enough to remember when they actually had film, what happens is suddenly the frames, you see the still frames. Now between those still frames is a dark space. What happens is the projector, it's going so fast that it appears to be a linear movement, but in reality, they're individual frames that are frozen, moving at a very fast speed. This was called the magic lantern. It was invented in France, and this is the beginning of cinema. And we, little kids, if you ever did those little papers where you draw the little stick men and then you flip them real fast, and it makes it, kids love that, because what they're seeing is it's an optical illusion. And the optical illusion is of sequential linearity. A moves to B, moves to C, and it's a succession of events. According to the dominant opinion of the Ash'aris, what happens is it's actually an on-off cycle. And so Allah is creating and destroying, it's an on-off. So that He's creating it in each, we can't even say nanosecond, because we don't know that whatever time that is, it's some type of time, but it's so fast that it creates the illusion that we feel like we're moving around, but in reality, it's just one creation, and then it stops, and then it's again, and then it stops. So we're like those stick men, and Allah's making the thing happen. So when the knife cuts, it's not really cutting. Allah's creating an opening. So the knife is just a sabab. It's Allah who's actually recreating the thing anew. But now it's opening. And then blood. And then, so if you could see it, if you had what Imam al-Junayd called fana, annihilation. If you had that moment, you'd go on to an off cycle and you'd see that nothing exists. That's annihilation, where you see that nothing exists except Allah. And that's why He's al-Hayyul Qayyum. He's sustaining the whole thing. And that la ta'khudu sinatun wa la nawm, because if a moment of ghafla took God, the whole thing would just disappear. So His qayyumiyyah, in one of the du'as, حتى أرى قيوميتك السارية في جميع المخلوقات. Let me see your qayyumiyyah that's happening in every instant in creation. That Imam Ali said, ما رأيت شيئا إلا رأيت الله قبله وفيه وبعده. I never saw anything except but I saw God in it, before it, in it, and after it. Meaning that he saw that it's God that's doing all of this in every instant. And that is what the position that most of the scholars took, which is arguably from spiritual experiences that they had. I mean, I find that very hard to believe. In a book on the atomic theory and history, which was written by a scholar from England, he argues that the Muslim atomic theory is unique in the history of civilization, that nobody really came up with that type of atomic theory before. And it's arguable that there's certain theories now, like string theory, that are very similar to that type of understanding. They're trying to work this out. They're trying to get some theory of everything that's going to explain these four forces and how they interact. But they don't have it because the theory of everything is God. And if you're denying him, how are you going to see him? Right? So...